Bill is shutting the water cooler down, going to tarp it, and he's draining the water out of it. And there's a tray that he slides in to keep the cold air from coming in the house. And then we have these trolley fans, 2 of them on the house, that he just put a tarp over them to keep the wind from blowing them, because it would draw the hot air out of the attic. So we do this every year to help keep the house warmer. Now this is the house vent we got at both ends. He just got through shutting them off from the inside. He has a styrofoam that fits right in there with boards, and he screws it down, and that way we don't have no wind blowing through the attic. That will help hold the heat in the attic and let the house stay a little warmer. Covering our water cooler helps a lot. We were thinking at one time to build a permanent ladder here, 4 foot wide, just in case that water cooler goes out. We can take another one up, and a stairway. But after Biden got hold of the USA, that ain't gonna work. We didn't want to buy the wood. Wood costs way too much now, but maybe at some time the prices will get back down, and if it does, we'll build a rail or steps with handrails, gates, so the dogs won't go up there. And in the future, it'll make it easier for us and not have to deal with the ladder, because a lot of times the older people, when they get old, they misstep or something and they fall off ladders. So we was wanting to make a permanent, nice step-up ladder, but hopefully one day we can. Bill cleaned out both of these chimneys. He does that every time we get ready to start a fire in them. We haven't started a fire in the front room yet, but we have started a fire in the back porch. And that's nice and cozy in the morning. That's where we have our coffee. So that is great. Oh, right there is our Biden propane tank. So it went up $250 more, and then when Trump had it was in office. Just saying. Now it costs us $600 for every fill up. So we try not to get fill up, but we're low on wood, and we're thinking about other prospects like electric blanket, heating pads maybe on our chairs, stuff like that. We're going to close off one of the front room, close it off totally for blankets, keep warm. Thank you, Biden. You're helping us do survival. Yeah, good deal. Right now, this is the wood we got. We plan on going out to the desert with the donkeys, pick up some dead wood, and usually to make it through the winter without gas, we use about 6 cords. The sawmills is closed down because this summer the mountains shut down. They couldn't saw wood, and yeah, the government shut us down. So this is it there. But we do like to hike out there with the donkeys.
Yeah, I've got it all winterized and the sun comes back out.
Yeah, good.
Back to normal.
It made the sun come out. Yeah. He's not taking this shade cloth down yet, but this is our pop can heater that goes in the house, heat the house. What it is, it pulls in air from the utility room, and then when the sun hits the pop cans, it goes up, and then it goes right back in the house. So we got 2 of them. This one, we had a plastic thermometer on it and it melted it at 250, so we never did test it to see exactly how hot it gets, but it does a good job. We're going to try these pop can heaters that Bill made. They get up to 200 degrees if we got them in a sunny window, and I'll show you more. The sunroom helps heats the house also.
Well, those little space heaters that I'm working on, I got to get some flat black paint, so I didn't have any.
Wait a minute, can you see? I don't want to face the sun.
I just sprayed it, this initial coat with, it's gloss black, but I've got a bunch of that. I've got to get a couple of cans of flat black to do the little space heaters on the windows inside. And if I can get them, looks like they're easy going to be 200 degrees, maybe a little bit more once I get the flat black on them. And that'll add to the heating of the sunroom, and it'll add to the heating of the house. We'll open the windows.
Okay.
Well, another thing that we've got in here, I don't know whether I talked about it before. When we built this is just sand floor, dirt and sand on top of the dirt. But the water is incoming right here. Well, underground, I'm teeing off of that incoming water, and I've got this black poly pipe like this. It's 1 inch, and I've got it in a grid system where it's basically the subheating that people use in houses today, but it's been around a long time. But I've got it in a grid back and forth in here about 6 inches deep, and that gets some heat off the warm ground. I've got it going in. This is an old water heater tank. I think we put a new one up, so I salvaged the tank and painted it flat black, and I've got off of that grid the water running into the bottom of the tank and back out up through the attic and back down to the water heater. And what I'm doing is preheating the water coming into the water heater. And our water heater just, a lot of times in the winter, the water heater just comes on if we don't keep the house real warm. But with that, when we done that, it only comes on when we use a lot of water. The water heater comes on, so it keeps it pretty hot. And we had power go out. We had a problem with the well. When the power, it was a well, and we had to shut everything down. And the hot water in that system stayed for several days, the real hot water, with no water heater running at all. So that grid works, plus the windows of the sunroom. And I'll put them little heaters. I'm going to try to make 2 more up to go in those windows to catch, because we can only get it from the south, probably until early afternoon. And then the sun, well, the earth's turning, the sun's going back that way, because it's setting way over in the northwest now, and it'll go farther through the winter. But we can get it all morning and all morning and part of the afternoon here. And so those space heaters that I'm building, each one of them, well, altogether they'll probably put out about just under 1,000 degrees. So each one of them's a little over 200.
Yeah, it depends on how much cans we have to make them.
Well, they'll hold 72 cans, each one of those crates. But I got to paint them flat black to cover up that gloss, and that'll draw more in. So then we can open these bedroom windows during the day, mid-morning or sometime a little bit earlier. Depends on the weather conditions. When we get so much sun here, we're lucky in the summertime. And when they built this house, they used that formula for the south facing to catch more heat, because before we added this on, those windows are in the shade all summer long, and in the winter they're in full sun. Well, I've covered them because of the roof I had to put on. If I put a clear roof on, I could be okay, but it gets too hot in the summertime, and in the winter really, because we've got these shaded, these skylights that I put in.
Yep.
We got them shaded somewhat, and it still gets pretty hot in the.
Yeah, it'll burn the plants.
Yeah,
the
it
sun
burns the
will.
plants. So I'm gonna probably make something different to go on the top of them, like I'm gonna do with the greenhouse with that cane. Tie them together real tight and make like a bamboo curtain.
Our shade, New Mexico shade cloth.
In Shannon, New Mexico City.
Yeah.
And there'll be, each section will be about 4 foot wide, and that room the greenhouse is 12 foot north to south. So I'll probably try to get them about 10 foot long, and I can roll them up and store them in the wintertime. But then in the summer, because we're getting too much heat on that bed out there, the outside bed, and I'm trying to shade it a little bit. And the greenhouse gets too hot, so we have to shade it a little bit. Even with all the windows open, it still gets 100 degrees or better, and we don't want it that hot in the summertime. We'd like to keep it around 80 at the most, 80, 85. So anyway, I'll make them shade cloths out of the cane that we've got. I've been storing it up, the big ones, and I'll use the hay twine to tie it, and just have it almost butted up to where there's some sunlight gets through. And it kind of a dapple shade is what it'll be if it works. And then I can roll it up, tie it off, and store it in the hay barn in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Can't think.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. It sounds right. But anyway, that tank works real good. We had one on there, an old one that
It's right over there. I'm using it for
okay.
a heater.
Yeah, it leaks water. That's finally rusted out. And if this does, I'll just look around for usually you can go to the dump or recycling center, and you might be able to get one, or sometimes people have them on Craigslist, a used one.
And there's probably stuff on YouTube about how to heat with these things.
It's pretty simple.
But
it's hard to strip it down because it's got insulation stuck to it all the way around. It takes a little bit of work to strip it down to the tank. And these are just, this is washing machine hoses, and there's one on the very bottom, and it's feeding out of that. And I do have a shut-off valve where I can shut it off if I need to replace this, or if I have to do something with the water heater inside. But that way I don't have cold water going into my water heater. It's preheated somewhat.
And the attic's warm too, so he sent that pipe up in the attic right over to the hot water tank.
Goes over to through the attic and drops down through the ceiling to your hot water heater in the little room that it's in all by itself. And it works good. It doesn't get extremely hot. But it gets fairly hot. You can lay your hand on it. But, it's just enough to where you're not sending that cold water all the time to your water heater.
Yeah. Helps a lot.
It's worked for us for several years.
Yeah.
And we like it.
Yeah, like it.
It
saves gas.
Yeah, it does save a lot of gas. And gas is getting high, electric's getting high.
Yeah.
Have you seen how much gas is?
I wonder who said that.
Who said that?
I wonder. Dang. When we get ready to do the pop can heater, when it gets a little colder, we're going to have to cut all that brush down. And we cut all the way down. And then in the summer it goes back up. So thanks a lot for coming by and watching. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.